As a game rooted in the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, Black Wukong is filled with a wealth of background and stories related to Chinese mythology. However, if you're not particularly interested in Chinese classical literature, don't read this complex novel, which exceeds 500,000 words. It will be a painful process. I hope this video series will help you quickly understand the key characters in the game by combining Chinese mythology with Journey to the West, enhancing your gaming experience. At the end of the last video, GuangyJi turned Wukong back into stone. Wukong's 6 spirits were scattered across the world, and it is the player's main task in this game to revive Wukong by recovering these 6 spirits. Each of these 6 spirits represents one of the body's organs in Buddhism: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and heart. Buddhism believes that within these organs lie 3 of humanity's primal sins: greed, anger, and ignorance. These 3 Buddhist sins are the core of the Black Wukong story. If you're familiar with the painting The 7 Deadly Sins and the 4 Last Things, or the Brad Pitt movie, you'll find it easier to grasp the essence of Black Wukong. Greed is the theme of chapter Black Wine Mountain. You'll see this animation that tells a story from Journey to the West when you complete chapter 1. A young monk who later becomes Elder Jinchi is in the forest trying to catch a golden toad. The golden toad is a mythical creature in Chinese legend, said to spit out gold coins with every step. Jinchi is trying to catch it because he needs money to ordain himself at the Guanyin temple. In ancient China, the cost of ordination was expensive and such young monks often couldn't afford it. As the golden toad escapes, it leaps over a corpse, foreshadowing the deaths of many who have tried to capture it. At this moment, Jinchi encounters a black bear who, also devoted to Buddhism, wishes to improve his Buddhist cultivation. The black bear gives Jinchi the gold he has obtained through robbery, allowing Jinchi to enter the Guanyin temple. Years pass, and Jinchi becomes the abbot of the temple, accumulating more and more wealth, especially robes. According to Buddhist rules, ordinary monks cannot wear pure yellow robes unless granted by the emperor. Despite having over 100 robes, Jinchi is obsessed with obtaining a pure yellow robe, which becomes a fixation for him. One day, Wukong and Tang Sanzang arrive at the temple seeking lodging. Jinchi discovers that Tang Sanzang possesses an imperial yellow robe adorned with diamonds. That night, Jinchi borrows the robe to admire it. Obsessed with its beauty, he listens to the advice of his disciples GuangyJi and GuangMou and sets fire to the room where Tang Sanzang is sleeping, intending to keep the robe for himself. However, his plot is thwarted by Wukong, who uses a fireproof mantle to protect the room and then summons a great wind to burn down the entire Guanyin temple. In the chaos, the black bear sneaks into the temple and steals the robe. The next day, Jinchi, facing the ruined temple, feels deep remorse and commits suicide by ramming his head into a pillar. Wukong then travels to the South Sea and, with the help of Guanyin, subdues the black bear Guai and his accomplices. The black bear Guai is taken by Guanyin to the South Sea to serve as a guardian, while Wukong helps Tang Sanzang retrieve the robe. In the game, when you return to this mountain, 500 years have passed. GuangyJi is the first boss you encounter. 500 years ago, he advised Elder Jinchi to kill Tang Sanzang for the robe. From his profile, we learn that GuangyJi was deeply remorseful after his failure. He could never forget the night when the fire reduced everything to ashes, struggling with the painful memory for his entire life. He forged a new weapon inspired by the raging flames he saw that night. He named it the Red Tides.
Master spoke of you.
Upon his death, GuangyJi speaks of Master, referring to the black bear Guai. The black bear Guai has now returned to the mountain. Over the 500 years, the black bear Guai has rebuilt the Guanyin temple, provided salvation to the souls that perished in the fire, and rewritten the scriptures that were burned. Additionally, we learn from the black bear Guai's profile that he used the resurrection magic he learned in the South Sea to revive his fallen comrades Lingxuzi and Elder Jinchi. In the following journey, these two will become significant obstacles for the players. GuangMou is another opponent you encounter. 500 years ago, he and GuangyJi together persuaded Elder Jinchi to kill Tang Sanzang for the robe. From his profile, we see that GuangMou was more cunning and always envious of GuangyJi's standing in Elder Jinchi's eyes. He knew from the beginning that Wukong was powerful and that the fire plot would fail, so he ran away early on. The last note in his profile suggests that he intended to use the fire to eliminate Elder Jinchi, whom he despised, by exploiting Wukong's power. Elder Jinchi is a hidden boss in the game, requiring the player to ring bells in 3 different locations to summon him. Once all 3 bells are rung, Elder Jinchi and the ruins of the Guanyin temple destroyed 500 years ago will reappear. This temple is formed by Elder Jinchi's lingering resentment. 500 years ago, Wukong kept ringing a bell at the temple gate for amusement, drawing out Elder Jinchi. 500 years later, Elder Jinchi still emerges at the sound of the bell. When the Black Bear Guai revived him, his soul accidentally fused with the gold and silver he had hoarded, turning him into the metallic monster we now see. After defeating him, you hear him calling out GuangyJi and GuangMou's names, saying he no longer desires the robe and only wishes for the fire to end. The real fire had long been extinguished 500 years ago, but the fire of greed had burned in his heart for 500 years until now. Lingxuzi has 2 versions. One was the original Black Guai's comrade killed by Wukong in Journey to the West, but resurrected 500 years later by the Black Bear Guai. The other is a character who distrusts Buddhism and serves as the guardian and werewolf handler of the Guanyin temple. After killing Elder Jinchi, the player discovers a wolf hanging from a tree surrounded by weeping wolf. This wolf is the resurrected Lingxuzi. According to the profile about the white-clad noble, Lingxuzi expresses that we should not be here, indicating that they were supposed to be dead. However, after being resurrected by the Black Bear Guai, Lingxuzi needed to consume the blood of the mountain wolves daily to sustain his life. Unable to bear this, he eventually left and hanged himself in the mountains. Resurrection is a rare opportunity, but Lingxuzi chose to give up his desire to live for the sake of others' lives. The old wolf hanging on the tree is the only monster in Chapter 1 who did not succumb to desire. The white-clad noble is believed by most to be a spy sent by Guanyin, a theory supported by his own dialogue and the Black Bear Guai statements suggesting that the white-clad noble has a mysterious identity and the Black Bear Guai is the original form of the Black Wind King. After being defeated by the player, he returns to the South Sea. Here, in his conversation with Guanyin, they discuss a core Buddhist paradox. The Buddha teaches people to let go of desires, but isn't the very act of letting go a form of desire itself? Since possessing a yellow robe is proof that a monk has attained enlightenment and let go of desires, then why is Elder Jinchi's pursuit of the yellow robe considered a sin? Trapped in his failure from 500 years ago, GuangyJi can't move on, while GuangMou, driven by greed, longs for the position he never had in Jinchi's heart. Jinchi himself has been tormented for 500 years over a single robe, and the Black Bear Guai, obsessed with power, rebuilds the temple, but come to nothing in the end. Only Lingxuzi, who gave up his life 500 years later, taught his disciples the true meaning of letting go and following Buddhism. In the game, we often see his wolf followers meditating and chanting under the stone tablets. This is Lingxuzi's legacy. Thank you for watching. This is the 2nd video in my Black Myth series. In the next video, I'll dive into the 2nd chapter and explore more fascinating connections between the game, Chinese mythology, and Journey to the West. If you have any other content you'd like to see or suggestions, please let me know in the comments. See you next time.